Well, welcome to the month of June, and I'm excited to share with you what we're going to be doing in terms of our verse of the day, as well as our monthly Bible reading. Because we've been spending time in 1 Thessalonians, which is the first or the oldest part of the New Testament and was written by the Apostle Paul, I thought it might be good to enlarge the circle, but to stay with Paul's writing. So we're going to be hearing verses from Paul's letters to the Galatians, the Ephesians, the Philippians, and the Colossians. So for Monday through Sunday, for the 4 weeks of June, we'll have verses from those 4 books. Now, some days there will actually be 2 verses because where the number is placed, it's right in the middle of a sentence or in the middle of a thought, so you may have to work a little bit harder on those days. But I hope you will find these verses from these 4 letters to be inspiring, comforting, and challenging as you seek to continue to grow and mature as a follower of Jesus Christ. So we're going to start out in Galatians chapter 1 and verse 10, where Paul writes, "Am I now seeking human approval or God's approval? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still pleasing people, I would not be a servant of Christ." Paul begins Galatians unlike almost any of his other letters because he's so angry, he's so upset that they are turning to another gospel that isn't really the gospel, that he doesn't include a prayer for the church that is receiving and hearing his letter as he does in most of his other letters. He just goes right into his argument. And part of the point he is making is that as a preacher of the gospel, as a servant of Christ, he can't be concerned always with pleasing people. His sole focus has to be on pleasing God. I can tell you as a pastor for 30 years and a preacher for 30 years, I know what it's like to be in Paul's sandals in terms of not being able to please people. Almost every Sunday, I know I am making at least a few people either angry, upset, or disappointed by what I say or what I don't say. And that's part of the responsibility that one bears when one answers the call to Christian ministry. But for all of us as disciples of Christ, we want to make sure that we are not spending our life trying to please other people, which is a recipe for disappointment. Rather, we want to be focused on pleasing God, whose opinion is really the one that matters the most, both now and for all eternity. So make sure you don't get too wrapped up in what other people think of you or say about you or pleasing them. You're never going to be able to please everybody, as Ricky Nelson said in a famous song. But rather than seeking to please ourselves as a result, we are to seek to please God.